Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Mat Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
A disturbing ruling in New Mexico regarding homosexuality and the rights or lack thereof of a photographer to carry on her business. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. And Matt, this case has been going on for some time, but now a 5-0 decision from the New Mexico Supreme Court came out with an unbelievable decision that angered me as I read it because it did not have any logic to it. And it was just a predetermined position, I think, that was not based on real precedent, involving a woman who is a Christian photographer who refused to photograph a same-sex commitment ceremony in New Mexico. Now, New Mexico does not acknowledge same-sex marriage, but these two lesbians wanted to have a commitment ceremony, and she said no. She does weddings, but she can't do same-sex commitment ceremonies. There's obviously other people that they could have gone to, but they filed a civil rights complaint against her because of Mexico's non-discrimination law that includes sexual orientation. And this case finally all the way to the New Mexico Supreme Court, and she lost 5-0 in this decision.
Yeah, it's shocking, but frankly not surprising. I mean, we have been saying all along that the oxymoronic notion of gay marriage and religious liberty cannot coexist in harmony. And now the cases are piling up and mounting case after case of baker, photographer, printer, and on it goes. People who say, I cannot lend my talents and abilities to take part in something that Scripture clearly says is an abominable sin. I cannot give tacit approval to, or even direct approval to, that lifestyle. My sincerely held religious beliefs, my faith will not allow me to. My conscience will not allow me to. Well, no, not in today's America. Even in a state where there's no such thing as same-sex marriage, even in New Mexico, a 5-0 decision says, nope, we're going to make you violate your conscience and take part and use your artistic abilities to photograph something that you find repugnant. I find that repugnant.
And this particular, the facts of this case indicate that this lady here, who is a young lady and a professional photographer, and it's called Elaine Photography, and her Elaine is her first name, and it's Hugginen, Elaine Hugginen, and it's Elaine Photography. So she does professional photography, which includes weddings. And she says that she doesn't discriminate against someone based upon their sexuality. She'll take a photograph of anyone. She's not going to take an inquiry in terms of what you do when you're not around her. So she's not going to discriminate against it. But one thing she will not do is she will not participate in an event that is a same-sex commitment. It's no different than to say, I don't discriminate against white people. I'll take photographs of them all the time. I'll take a photograph in your tux for your business, for whatever you want to do, for your commercial portfolio, if you're a model. But I won't take a photograph of your KKK rally. I just won't do it. That is offensive to me. I don't believe in that kind of racism, and I won't participate in it. And the equivalent of this court is to come back and say, now they try to avoid that analogy, but that's exactly the same thing. I'll photograph you. I'm not going to take an analysis of what you do, but I will not photograph an event that actually collides with my religious values, which is a same-sex commitment.
Right. So they're putting the focus on the subjectively defined sexual orientation of these two women, the court did, whereas the focus of the photographer had nothing to do with their so-called sexual orientation, had everything to do with the event, a commitment ceremony, a lesbian commitment ceremony, which is counter-Christian, unbiblical, and a sin.
There would be an easy resolution to this court if they just used some general common sense and followed the case law. But they said, well, yeah, but you can't say that you don't want to do a same-sex wedding because you'll do a a heterosexual wedding, and the only difference is because these two people are homosexual. Well, you go back to the same analogy. You could say the same thing. You could say, well, I don't want to film your KKK rally. And they say, well, you've got to do that. Well, we're not discriminating against you because you're white. We just don't want to do the event. Well, it's white people that are participating in this event. And she would say, well, if you want to participate in another event, if you want to do a picnic or something like that, I'll film that. I'm just not going to film your KKK rally. Yeah. Here, what they said, though, is if you don't film the same-sex commitment, it's the same as discriminating against somebody on the basis of their homosexuality. And consequently, it is a violation of the state law.
Yeah, it's chilling, Matt, and as attorneys for Elaine's photography point out, this is the stuff of a dictatorship. It's not the stuff of a democratic republic and a free nation. And it's chilling, but we have been screaming from the rooftops that this was coming down the pipe. And here it is today. It's only going to get worse. The courts across the land, including the New Mexico Supreme Court, I believe here, are emboldened by this absurd decision, essentially by one man in the United States Supreme Court. He was the swing vote. Justice Kennedy wrote the majority opinion, basically saying, giving a green light for discrimination, what they present as a panacea against discrimination. They're giving the green light for judges and officials across the country to discriminate against people based on their conscience, their religious liberties, and they're doing that based on this sexual orientation. Kennedy, of course, citing no precedent, no logic, no coherent argument in doing it, and it's catching like a virus across the land, and judges are trampling the rights of Christians. Here's the latest case in point.
Well, and one of the judges in this 5-0 decision wrote a concurring opinion agreeing with the result here, but he also then actually threw Elaine under the bus even more, essentially arguing that her views were incompatible with this pluralistic society of America. And she can have her religious views, but if she wants to actually participate in photography, she's going to have to put those aside. She's going to have to basically compromise her religious views. Well, are they going to force her to film an orgy because homosexuals want to come together and film an orgy? Are they going to force her to do? This absurd situation here is the harbinger of things to come. We said this before. Whenever you start putting sexual orientation, which now the broader term is gender identity, which is even more subjective in your mind, in any local ordinance or state ordinance, it's not about stopping discrimination because you really find negligible evidence of that anyway. It's all about exactly what we see here in New Mexico. And this, friends, is the wake-up call of what is not now here. It's not what's coming, it's what's here. We said it was coming, now it's here. And that is these two ideologies, the homosexual agenda and our historic Christian values and the protections that are afforded under the Constitution are colliding together. And we've got to stand up, we've got to wake up, and we've got to push back. Because otherwise, one will win and one will lose. And what we've seen now in New Mexico, who the loser is, and it is the person who exercises their religious freedom.
The message here is clear. You cannot be Christian and engage and carry out your Christian faith and engage in commerce. That is the message here. This is the court putting up a razor-wired fence around the church saying, get in there and stay in there. They're taking their twisted version of separation of church and state to the extreme and saying that Christians keep your homophobia and your antiquated beliefs and Bronze Age beliefs about sexuality, keep them within your own church. Stay out of the public realm with all of that, and the message is very clear.
Yeah, the message is very clear. So that's why we want to educate you and help you to be motivated as well. Go to our website, lc.org. You can also go to libertycounsel.com, libertycounsel.com. That's our other website that has a lot of our petitions, and you can sign up to receive our activist email right there at libertycounsel.com and sign up for a number of petitions so that your voice will be heard on a lot of issues affecting our family, faith, and freedom. To be educated, get some of our resources. Dr. Judith Reisman's book called Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence is one. Rena Linda Voltson's book is another one, and it is Only One Mommy. And then my book is Same-Sex Marriage, Putting Every Household at risk. Also, you can find more information there on Liberty Counsel's website, libertycounsel.com and lc.org. Make sure you sign up for our regular newsletters, and also remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers and your financial support. We're supported by tax-deductible gifts from people just like you around the country who believe in America, who believe in our family, faith, and freedom. Join with Liberty Counsel and get involved to make a difference in your community and in our country.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.